Today is my 41st birthday, and waking up to a beautiful sunrise, freezing cold weather, but we're motoring south. Gonna go to Wrightsville Beach today. People are pulling up their anchors. It's about 7 a.m. in the morning. I know this is a muddy bottom, so I'm gonna be up there cleaning the chain. Hopefully that'll be the worst part of my 41st birthday.
Okay, welcome back everyone. We'll pick up where we left off in episode 1, hauling butt from Annapolis, where we had stayed for hurricane season, going south just as fast as we can to get away from the freezing weather. Leaving Mile Hammock Bay, we spent a couple of days in Wrightsville Beach for birthday celebrations and bad weather, before continuing down the Cape Fear River and an overnight stop in Southport. We continued our near daily onslaught of motoring down the ICW into South Carolina, where we passed through Myrtle Beach, and then arrived to one of our favorite areas, the Winyah River. On the way north, we had spent quite a few days here just off the river on Prince Creek, a beautiful and natural place.
We went all day long, from before sunrise to just at sunset. And we're here just off the ICW in the beautiful upper Winyah River. Just up from Prince Creek, where we anchored on the way north in such a pretty spot. What do you think, Lindy? There goes the sun. So this is our earliest morning so far. We're up at 6:30, leaving by 6:45, and we're just going to see again how far we can get today. Pretty dark ahead, and I got Lindy up there with the spotlight just watching to make sure we don't run into anything. Sun's rising back behind us. We'll have some daylight soon. All right, the sun's come up and we're heading out Winyah Bay. We've decided to go on the outside into the Atlantic and probably going to go overnight and come back in at the Savannah River. So this will be our first ocean work in a long time. We're excited, the weather looks good, and we're just motor sailing right now. We've got a stiff current coming at us, but when we get outside, we should be able to just sail down the coast. We'll pass by Charleston and then get to the Savannah River, probably about 24 hours from now. And this is the mouth of the inlet here, from there to right over here.
So we're headed out the Winyah Bay Inlet. Of course, we're not the only boat out here. This commercial shrimper sharing the inlet. Luckily, this channel is very wide, enough for everybody.
Winds were forecasted to be light and clocking behind us, but we were hoping that they would be strong enough to make good time sailing where we wouldn't have to motor all night. It seemed that we surely wouldn't need to worry about wind on the nose or too strong wind.
But we finally got a little sailing wind. Got the motor off. Just out here kicking it in the Atlantic Ocean. All right. Not bad. I wish we were going a little bit faster, but that's all right. Wouldn't you know it, the wind was supposed to be a beam reach and then get behind us. And we're doing the regular holiday thing. Motor sailing, pounding into a headwind. That's just how it goes for holiday, I guess. We're hoping the forecasted winds happen here before too long and it gets beside us or behind us, so it's a little bit more of a comfortable ride, especially as the sun sets in later, but we'll see.
Well, there was the wind on the nose that we weren't supposed to have. Wind forecasting is apparently not an exact science at all. And remember a moment ago when I said we wouldn't have to be worried about too strong of wind either?
So we're sailing. Zach's hand steering.
Yeah, we were over 25 degrees just then, by the way.
Yeah.
This sucks.
It's terrible. We're the worst sailors ever. Actually, that's not true. We're not bad sailors. We just apparently don't understand wind and waves and just weather forecast in general or something. I'm not really sure. I'm just not really loving it, but here we are. It's a view out there. Ocean, these waves, oh my goodness. There's Zach again.
Yikes. And it's not that the autopilot won't steer us on a course, it will. It's just every once in a while, a gust of wind will come, and before the autopilot steers back, the wind turns us into it and we heel way over. So rather than let that happen once every 5-10 minutes, I'm just hand steering for now. If I get tired of it, I'll turn the autopilot back on. Okay, just about 30 minutes later, things have settled down a little bit. Sailing under full sail. We're set back up. Not white knuckle sailing. Oh, look for the green flash. Oh.
I saw it.
Yeah, there was a little green flash. That's your first time in, Lindy. If you just see it turn like yellow and then green.
Yeah.
When it's otherwise orangey pink.
Yep.
Nice.
Day turned to night, and we had an uneventful sail, then motor sail. We passed by the lights of Charleston, South Carolina, and then entered Georgia waters, taking turns on 3 to 4 hour watch shifts. As the sun rose, we could see the entrance to the Savannah River.
All right, there's the sunrise, and we are motor sailing, approaching the entrance to the channel to the Savannah River. Right by Tybee now. Coming in. Well, here 28 hours after we left our anchorage on the Winyah River in South Carolina. We're getting back on the ICW here near Savannah, Georgia. We made it. Tied up at Thunderbolt.
After a few days in Savannah, visiting with friends and waiting out some bad weather, we headed off into the marshes of Georgia. We were sure we'd finally get to some warmer weather soon.
It was an all-day affair, but we made it to one of my favorite anchorages, New Tea Kettle Creek, here in Georgia off Savannah Island. Lindy is getting some chili started, which I'm really excited about. Just got the anchor set about 20 minutes ago. This was one of my favorite anchorages on the way north. Good to be back. We want to, get to Cumberland Island before sunset, and also we've got a tide section, shallow section that we need to time with the tides, the Little Mud River coming up. And we're going to be motoring all day again. Yay!
We got a little motor sailing in as we headed across the St. Simon Sound and up the Brunswick River. We were back in the state that we both grew up in, but it was just too cold to stay for long.
So we're in Jekyll Creek, and I don't recommend going through here at low tide like we're doing.
Not very wide through here, not a lot of depth.
We made it through and continued on, passing by this strange looking thing being pushed on a barge.
We're coming into Cumberland Island anchorage. Kind of windy and nasty outside still. We're going to come out here and anchor next to these boats. All right, we got anchored up. It's very gray and nasty. It's not raining right now. I took a shower because it made me feel awesome. Lindy's showering next, but first she's getting one of her specialities, Mexican lasagna, ready. All right. Ooh, it's looking good. Ooh, you cooked it in the cast iron skillet?
I did.
Nice. I'm gonna eat that up. All right, night has fallen on holiday and we're just chilling out. Eat some dinner and go to bed. So we're leaving Cumberland Island and there's a submarine coming in. Look at that. There's something you don't see every day.
It was cool to spend a couple of days at Cumberland Island, and even cooler to see this sub on the way out. After passing the sub on the St. Mary's River, we entered back into Florida. We decided that our trip up the ICW was the longest that we had been away from Florida since we had moved there over 15 years before. Soon we were approaching the St. Johns River, which we planned to cruise and also finish our final prep for going to the Bahamas.
We anchored here before on the way north up the ICW, but on the way north we just stopped in here and then continued up the ICW. This time we're headed down the St. Johns River.
The St. Johns River is really interesting cruising grounds. From the ICW to the city of Jacksonville, it is a totally industrial port of entry filled with big boat traffic and the docks and cranes where they unload their containers and other cargo. Soon, the city of Jacksonville comes into view.
If you've ever been to a Georgia-Florida game, you probably spent a little time at the Jacksonville Landing, which is right there.
To the I-95 bridge, and as we go under it, that's when the St. Johns River really expands its banks, and it looks like a giant lake. So we're going to go down and cruise this big, more natural part of the St. Johns River and find us a good anchorage for the night.
Base here, and I think the sky is going to fly right over us.
So this is the bridge across the mouth of Doctor's Lake, and that connects to what's called Fleming Island right here. And that's where my parents have a house, as well as some aunts and uncles. So we'll be getting to see them in the next couple of weeks. And we are going to anchor just across the St. Johns River here behind Mandarin Point. Pretty cool spot. We've gotten our big planning chart out here because we're starting to think about going to the Bahamas. Not too much longer. Explorer chart out on the table. You know it's getting real when Explorer charts come out.
Since leaving Cumberland Island, we were finally back into some warmer weather. This anchorage on the St. Johns River was awesome, and we watched a great sunset. We finally felt like we were close to heading to the Bahamas. But first, we needed to head to a marina to finish up our last boat projects and visit family for the holidays.
What are we having for breakfast, Lindy?
Avocado toast with fried egg on top.
Oh man, that's gonna be good. So we're gonna head back up the St. Johns River to the Ortega River and get our slip, see our family, and work on all our last preparations before heading over to the Bahamas. All right.